Hello, everybody. I'm Katrina. You are in the right place. This is Sow and Tare live chat. We do this every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time, except for the first Monday of the month. We do it on Thursday instead. So, welcome. And sorry, I'm still eating something, so bear with me. This is naan that I made. We have made that on our Cook With Me Live. This is not the same one. It's really good. All right. So happy spring. Happy spring. Let's see who's here. Verna's here. Verna is base place with a little wrench. She's moderator, and so is Steve, which is S.O. Swanson, little wrench, also moderator. Thank you for coming, guys. All right. Verna says, "Hey, Katrina, first like, first here. Loved this morning's weekend review." Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, lots of bee stuff. Lots and lots of bee stuff. So and bunny stuff. So that is, if you're into bees and bunnies and you haven't watched today's video, go watch it. Steve is present and accounted for. Good, good. Uh-oh. Steve, you went muddy? You think you finally got the dust out of your lungs, huh? All right. All right. That's all right. I was a couple minutes late. I was trying to finish this, and then I was like, oh, I'm late. All right. Verna says it made some fresh guava butter today. You make it out like pear butter? You just cook it down? Guavas are something that I like the smell of, but I don't like the taste of. I'm sure there's a variety out there that I would, but the ones in the store and the ones that I've had, I like the smell, but I don't like the taste. So, oh, pineapple guavas are great, but that's not a guava and it's not a pineapple. So, Howie's here. Good evening, Earthlings. Hi, Katrina. Hello, Howie. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. And it looks like you have another storm coming towards you, I think. I'm not sure if how north you are, but there's another storm coming. We're supposed to get cooler. Now it is cloudy now, and it's I don't know that actually it's going to rain, but it might. We had a week of like 80 degrees, like 78 degrees is what the forecast was. I think it probably got up to 80. I never actually took a picture of the thermometer thing, but yeah. Yep. All right, Vern just cooked down the guavas. That's good, and you love the taste and the smell. I'm sure there's a variety that I would like. Like it's not like you, I won't eat it, but it's not appetizing to me, and it's rare enough that other people can have it. Like I'm not gonna eat a lot of it. Yeah. All right. Howie says eating steelhead trout, blood pudding, and squash. One of those sounds good to me, but as long as you are enjoying it, that is good. Oh my gosh, 85 degrees yesterday at Verna's. But today's highs was 45. It was supposed to drop on, I think it was supposed to drop on Saturday here down to like 58, but it didn't. So, yeah. Yeah, the weather's doing funky things. Shawnee's here. Welcome, Shawnee. She says, I have to resist the urge to plant peas or not. Maybe I'll risk it. I have extra. So close to gardening season outdoors. Yeah, I should be planting peas right now. I should have planted them probably a week ago, but it's okay. Peas are good. They are good. And Verna says, I love steelhead trout. I don't like the taste of any fish. So you may have more. 29 tonight at Dawn's place. Hi, Dawn. Welcome. Oh my gosh. Dawn says I've resisted planting peas too. I was getting a snack before and I didn't make it, so sorry if I munch. Okay. Verna says I don't like salmon, but I love steelhead. So something you could do is, for meat, is to fish, and that would be fine. For your protein, your foraging protein. But another thing you can do is you can do a aquaponic system, which is which is with fish. So it's a hydroponic system with fish involved, and there's a lot of different ideas on that. You could do something edible or something not edible. You could raise goldfish to the point of koi, right? You can get baby koi and raise them up and then sell them. You can get fancy fish and then sell them. Like, it could be a business. You don't, like, if I were to do that, I had an idea of doing this. It doesn't really work with the property I have, but I had an idea of doing this, and you would have like a wall that was a fish tank, and then the water would cycle down to a garden. And like I said, it doesn't work with this property, but it'd be like having a big aquarium in your house, but then you could sell the fish, because I don't like the taste of fish. So you could sell the fish for either food, or if you want to grow some fun things and let them have babies and really raise them, you can sell them, to pet stores or aquarium places. I think that would be a really cool idea. And then as the water goes out, it's fertilizing your plants because it has fish poo in it. So that was an idea I had a long time ago, but it would have only worked if the property I was at, had things in the right place. But yeah, that is an idea if you want to do that. Instead of just having a tank, just have have an aquarium, like have like a a huge wall or something. Why not? Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Shawnee's telling Howie to enjoy lovely food. Good, good. Hello, Andy Rabbit. Welcome. Don says aquaponics will freeze over all winter here. I decided years ago, not worth it for 4 or 5 months a year. Yeah, and it depends on where you do it too. So, like, I had a pond when I was in California, and it was a hand dug pond. It was probably 5 feet deep at the deepest, and a little over 10 feet wide at the widest. It wasn't circular; it was like a shape that I made. It had a shelf on it for the plants, and I had goldfish in there. I had goldfish that I could pet, and they got like that big. Um, it started like this. I think when I left, they were like that. But yeah, there's two that came up and let me pet them. Yes, you can pet fish. And then there was a bunch of ruby red minnows. And for that kind of pond, it wasn't aerated, and so it was important to get fish that gulp air. So there's air breathing fish, which also take air in their lungs as well through the water. But there's ones that come up to the surface to gulp air and ones that don't. So if you're looking into a system like that, definitely look into what species and what the temperatures can go down to. Goldfish can tolerate quite a low temperature, and same thing with the ruby red minnows. Lots of different minnows, cloud minnows, um, all of that. Tommy's not on here, is he? He would have a lot of information about that. Anyway, it's a fun thing. It's a fun idea to think through. And if anybody starts doing it, let us know. Yeah. Howie says if fish tastes fishy, then don't eat it. Got it. Well, they all taste like fish, right? And yes, I even had halibut, and it's not my thing. Don says I am having a time trying to set up a gravity feed water system for the rabbits if it would stop freezing. Yeah, so I have a video when it's outside of freezing. Hi, Bruce. Says hello, everyone. Outside of freezing time, I have a video, and I'm gonna just look for it real quick because I know it's easy to find here. And what I would change, which I will make one here, what I would change about this video, and it is very long, you can fast forward through it. It's meant for people. It's meant for people that don't know how to put things together and don't know the tools and don't know all these things. So it's very detailed. I'm fine with it if you fast forward through it to the parts that you want. Animal water and And so that is a good one. But what I would do differently is perhaps use an aquarium heater in the bucket and heat tape along the lines. So I think that's what I'm going to try for the winter, because it doesn't freeze for too long here. But having an aquarium heater in the bucket, so it's a bucket system, and then it has a line that goes through, and I think heat tape would work for that. So anyway, that is what I would recommend. For the rabbit cups, I like to use the metal ones because rabbits chew. Yep. Dawn says I would starve trying to eat goldfish to live off of for meat. No, so the goldfish I was thinking for, like, you know how you can koi or goldfish. It's a kind of goldfish, but they're goldfish. And goldfish will grow to the size of their environment. And so if you give them a small environment like a fishbowl, they won't grow very much. If you give them a bigger environment, then they'll grow to that environment. So that's what I was saying, is to do aquaponics and to potentially raise up fish that you buy cheap and then sell for more later down the road. So yeah. Koi don't make the winter at Dawn's. All right. Heat tape won't help the nipples. So I use the cups, and I'm wondering if you were to put it on the bottom of the cup as well, if it would radiate enough. And of course, your cold where you guys are and my cold where I am are probably different. Like, I think the historic number for the low here is 14. You're talking negatives. Yeah, I mean, you're going to turn the system off for the winter. Yeah. All right. Bruce says my freezer is stuffed with fish, salmon, halibut, cod, and koakani. I don't know that one. Well, congratulations. I hope you like fish. Steve says Dawn sardines are smaller than goldfish, and you can eat them. Yeah, that's like saying, when are the quail ready? And you say, well, they're crunchy now. No. All right. Howie says during a siege in Asia, the carp, aka goldfish, was a protein. And actually, in the Midwest, they have one that's called the silver carp, and it is known to jump out of the water and nail people in the head or the crotch or the body or whatever. There's lots of videos you can look up and laugh at people. But it's a real issue ecologically, and really, I think, if not all places, then most places you can fish them out as many as you want. But I don't know. I don't eat fish, so I can't tell you how they taste. But yeah, silver carp or something that's taken over like the Mississippi River. I don't know how far up they go, or how far down they go. I know they're by Iowa and Illinois, though. Yeah. Everybody's saying hi. Steve says we used to buy feeder goldfish for our pets. Yep. Oh, for pets. Yeah, well, that's what I bought. Is they're in there as feeders for other things when they're like this big, but they grow if you don't feed them to something. Amazing, right? All right. Dawn says I use boxed sardines as microgreen tray weight. Don't eat them. I agree, they're nasty. I enjoy fish, but not as a meal, not as a snack. Ugh. They can stay in the water. Andy says we were pulling up a fence today around a little garden spot. Man, the turkeys would not leave us alone. She kept trying to take the zip ties. She would grab them and spill them out. Oh my gosh, don't let them eat that. Oh my goodness. Okay, Howie says kokanee are landlocked salmon. Got it. Oh. Bruce says I use sardines as bait for, I'm going to guess you meant to say crabbing, but it says cabbing. Crabbing? Because they're stinky? Oh. And he says we left the dog in the house so she wouldn't bug us. Yeah, you got a task you need to do. Yeah. Steve puts sardines on crackers, and then apparently he doesn't eat them. They just sit there on the crackers. I don't know. You probably eat them. Asian carp. Yep. Don says I had a piranha one time too. Wait, you had one as a pet? I know someone that had piranhas as pets, and when they died, he had them stuffed. Yeah. I don't even know how one gets a piranha. I don't need to know. Don says I gave up on all the 55-gallon and bigger aquariums years ago. Steve's used raw chicken for crabbing. I used to trap turtles with some people, and we would use like chicken gizzards. You can buy at the store, like a bunch of them. You can use the rotten anything too. Chicken legs were popular because you could actually tie it on the string and then have it hang. But yeah, we would use that for. It was for scientific research to catch turtles. But there's all sorts of nasty stuff that they will be attracted to. Dawn says I would replace my protein if it had to be fish with navy beans and other beans first. Bean is not a complete protein, so add some corn and that will make a complete protein. Ta-da, knowledge. Quinoa is a complete protein. Beans plus corn is a complete protein. What are some other complete proteins, guys? A complete protein is a protein that is well, I'm thinking is a non-meat complete protein is a protein or a protein combination that gets you all that you would get if you were eating meat. So I'm not vegetarian, but if you are vegetarian or if you're looking at being vegetarian, that's a very important thing to know is what kinds of protein you're putting in your body, because proteins is what makes up our amino acids, which is what makes up our body, our muscles and our body. And so you have to get all of them in you in order to make your body healthy. I'm not a nutritionist. I know just enough to tell you guys to look up yourself. Yeah. C says, once had our fish on a stringer pulled up to leave, and the crabs had eaten them all. That is, I don't know. That's not good. And Don says, carp are a blast to catch on the line. Verna says, chicken wings are best for crawfishing. My goodness, we are talking about not what I thought we were going to talk about today. It's okay. All right. Dawn says I had a tank of piranha. They were from the store probably 25 years ago. Oh my gosh. And Howie says, I'm very fussy about my fish. Any smell and I won't eat it. I only catch my own so it don't stink. I have news for you. Fish taste like fish, no matter if they're fresh or not. There's fishy fish, which is like salmon, but they still taste like, I mean, that's a fishy fish, but other fish still taste like fish. He says fish are gross that are not fresh. I mean, I've had trout, and I'm not a fan of that either. I think there's a reason why it's very popular to bread the fish, because it's the breading that people like. Sorry, I'm biased. Don says I had a list of the complete protein combinations. I was prepping for the the bad meat and shortages they want to feed us. Yeah. Where'd you put that list? Yeah, complete proteins are important. Verna says, exactly, Howie. I will not go into a fish store that is overwhelming in fish smell. It means they have some bad fish. Okay, I don't know anything about that. The only time fish should smell like fish is if it's alive in your hands. Steve, it's still all fish smells like fish. What do you mean? I guess we should define what a fish smell is. I don't need to. It's up to you guys. Yeah. Andy says corn is good to catch trout with. We used to use balls of cheese, like the fake cheese. Howie says free range beef and it enjoyed life is best protein for me as I am a meat eater. Yep. I do my bunnies. I would like to do Muscovy ducks. I have a plan for that when my food forest gets started. And it won't be this year, it won't be next year for the ducks. But because they're like mini cows is what I've heard. They have very small, they're not small, they're pretty big, but they taste like beef. So yeah. Okay. It's crappie season at Steve's place. All right. You gonna do the ice fishing for those guys too? Don says fried flounder is awesome, like fried crappies or whitefish. Yeah, I'm still not a fan. Still not a fan. Bruce says not all fish taste the same. Some are much oilier than others. I agree with that. They just all don't taste good, in my opinion. All right, Howie likes the crappie. Good thing I know how to say that. Don's not looking for that list. Got it. Oh, yeah. Oh, Howie's into sushi. And it doesn't taste fishy at all. I mean, by definition, it does. Right? I mean, it's a fish. It's a raw fish. By definition, it does taste fishy. So there's got to be another name other than like fish or fishy to call the overly fishy ones. Anyway, I don't need to argue with people about fish because I just don't want to eat them. Don says catch bass with corn, crappie, catfish, everything in the lakes here. As long as you're not noodling where there are snapping turtles or alligator snapping turtles. If you're in the Midwest and you see a person with a bunch of missing fingers, they were probably noodling. Noodling is reaching under a bank and going like this so that the catfish think that those are worms, and then they literally try and swallow your hand, and then you pull them out. But the thing is, snapping turtles and alligator snapping turtles are also under those banks. So be smarter. Fish cannot digest corn and they die. Okay. I mean, if you're catching them anyway, they're gonna die before they die of trying to digest corn. Interesting. Sushi can give a person lungworms from Dawn. Not from Dawn. Dawn says this. Yeah. I don't know any of that. So yeah. You're supposed to swallow sushi, not inhale. I just don't want to. No. No. If not prepared right. All right. All right. Fish, fish, fish. Oh, there's a mud vein. I've heard of the mud vein that you're supposed to remove. I don't know. I don't like fish are fine. I have no problem with fish. I have a problem with it going into my mouth. Thank you, Shawnee, for getting us back on track. I like chicken. I like chicken too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff about sushi that, depending on what it is, it can be bad. Depending on what it is, people find it good. But I already don't like fish, so I probably would not like raw fish. I think it's sound logic. I like fish just fine, just not in my mouth. Okay. Um, okay, I am skipping some of the fish stuff. Sorry, guys. Okay, Steve says we build houses for catfish noodling here. Well, you are in Mississippi. Mississippi? Why did I just doubt where you're from? Anyway, yes. Okay. Shawnee says, okay, have you got anything in the freeze dryer right now? I just freeze dried a couple days ago. I freeze dried some lime juice for my neighbor because she has a lime tree. She's a pretty cool setup. She got a freeze dryer and something was wonky with it, so I'm like, just give it to me, I'll freeze dry it. So next thing going in, I think, is going to be celery. I got it a couple weeks ago and I have not cut it up yet. But I have wanted to do celery for a long time now because um, if you don't have any, like if you're not growing it at the time, then it's really hard to be like, oh, I'm going to use one stalk or I'm going to use two stalks. And like, there's hardly any recipe that calls for the whole thing. And I'll eat it, but I'm not going to eat it like ravenously. And so having it pre-cut for recipes and just freeze dried is good. I do have lovage that I dehydrated, and lovage is basically the precursor to celery in supermarkets. So before celery was in supermarkets, there was lovage in supermarkets. I don't even know if they're related or not. Celery, uh, well, it grows, celery grows pretty well, but you have to blanch it. Most varieties, there are varieties now that you don't have to now. Now, blanching celery means something different than blanching like to freeze vegetables. Blanching to freeze vegetables means to put it into boiling water for a set amount of time, which is pretty quick, which breaks the cells of the plant, and then you put it directly into ice water and immediately stop the cooking process, and then you can put it in the freezer. And that what breaking the cells open, um, that and then immediately stop cooking keeps it crisp. If you don't do that and you put it into the freezer and you need to take it out, what happens is in the freezing process, so have you ever put a water bottle in the freezer and like it was full and then like it cracked your water bottle or it blew the top off or something? That's what happens to each individual cell if you don't blanch it. So that's why you blanch when you freeze most vegetables. Not all of them need that. But blanching when it comes to celery means something completely different. Blanching celery means that you need to shade the stalks before harvesting them. And there are varieties that now exist that you don't have to do that, but you may have a variety that you have to do that. And it all that means is to shade the stalks. Now, commercially, they'll hill up around it. They'll do a machine and it'll just push dirt up around it. Other places you can put like a circle thing on the stalk and let it grow. But what that does is it makes it so it's not bitter, and it blanches the color out of it basically, but it does that. With lovage, you don't have to do that. Lovage is a perennial. It can die back in the winter, but it is a perennial, and it is a more full flavor, a little sharper flavor, but it's a very similar flavor to celery. And it can be used in the same ways. I also believe that the leaf can be used the same as the stalk, whereas celery, you can do that, but like I don't remember what it is, but there's something in the leaf that you have to be careful about having too much of, and I don't remember what it is. Somebody who knows more about nutrition might know that. Yeah, random things. All right, so yeah, next up I think is going to be celery. Howie says all living creatures have mold, yeast, fungus, parasites, worms, etc. So eat up. This is true. This is true. Verna says, I agree with Shawnee. Do you have anything going in the freeze dryer? Celery's coming. And I bought that. I didn't grow it. Yeah. Lime juice, yes. Yeah, and she had pre-frozen it. If you're going to freeze dry lime juice, so she pre-froze it just as lime juice. A lot of the juices like that are higher in sugar, which lime juice you wouldn't think of being high in sugar, but it is. It should be thinned out some, otherwise it will come out sticky. So if there's a lot of sugar content, then it can come out like tacky, sticky. And then if you thin it out with water, it's the same amount of juice in there. For some reason, it freeze dries differently. So, yeah. I'll probably freeze dry. She gave me some limes too, but I'll probably freeze dry wedges of them because you can rehydrate the wedges and like squeeze the lime. I don't know if I'll do that or if I'll do slices. Slices might be better. I don't know. But yeah, they will rehydrate and act exactly like a lime. Celery, yes, please. Verna found some cuy meat in the freezer. We'll cook it tomorrow. Awesome. What are you gonna make with it? Um, Bruce says, do you turn the lime juice into a powder? You can. You can. With her, I just gave it to her, and she'll probably scrape it off the silicone because it was sticky, and she'll probably just um, put it in a mason jar and then use it somewhat quickly. Not quickly, but in the near future. Not for long term storage. If it's like tacky like that. Um, Yeah, but you can do that. I've dehydrated lemons before, where I just did slices and put them in the dehydrator, and then I powdered that, and you can use that in a lot of things too. Um, yeah, yeah. So she did give me some limes as well. Celery is awesome. That's from Howie. It's really good for you. Yeah, freeze dry tax. Uh, Shawnee says I use a lot of celery diced in things as well as in chicken stock making. Yeah, but do you use like a whole, what is it called? It's not a head of celery. What is it called? A bunch? I don't know what a bunch of celery is called. Um, okay. Shawnee planted lovage. That's good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Um, it's definitely less watery than celery. It's more robust. It has a stronger, sharper taste, but it's really good. Uh, Especially if you're using it in soups and stuff. It's good. And Dawn likes what Steve's is saying. Bruce says celery with the ribs removed with potato peeler, then sauteed with red pepper flakes is a great side dish. All right. That's it, huh? There you go. Uh, Dawn says tie the stalks up with twine for celery, depending on which one you have, right? Yeah. I found that when I grew celery at my old place, because I haven't grown it here yet, um, you really have to watch for slugs. Slugs love celery. So, yeah. Yep. Um, Howie says I have blood pudding with my dinner, and I get a lot of energy, so I'm going for a bike ride. See ya, Earthlings. Oh, lovage is delish. I weeded lovage today at the lawn. Wait, you pulled out lovage? How dare you? Pull out the lawn. Okay, Dawn's saying that's why they do it in hydroponics. Or that's what they do in hydroponics. Yeah. Oh, you brought it to the veggie patch. Thank you. You are yes, doing good. Have a good bike ride, Howie. Hugs and sunshine are things he says. Shawnee says I started 3 ferments recently, practicing with store bought before using my garden harvest. I have not. I have only done ferment once, and it did not turn out great. But I think it's because it was lacto fermentation, and I am not a salty person. It was the sunchokes, and I did way too many of them. What I should have done is like sliced them up and freeze them or something, like made them into something, then freeze them. Um, but yeah, it was way too salty. Even after rinsing, it was way too salty. So I wish you luck in that. Yes, I wish you luck. Um, I also don't do alcohol, so like the smell of yeast even is quite nasty to me. So because that's what they're doing, they poop alcohol bubbles, right? The yeast. Um, anyway, sounds interesting. Verna says. Dawn says, I almost fermented asparagus yesterday, but chickened out. I was afraid it would be nasty like canned. I have no information for you there. Sorry. She says, I blanched and froze 4 pounds. 189 a pound. Can't grow it for that. Yep. Yep. There are certain things you choose to grow and choose not to grow. I would say asparagus homegrown is so much better than store bought. Yeah. Shawnee says celery, whole bunch, stalk or head. Single piece is a rib, stick, or branch. I've never heard a branch or a stick or a rib. Stalk is what I've heard. Huh. Dawn says I will grow Amsterdam celery in hydroponics after I get all the garden produce started inside first. Awesome. And Dawn says I will ferment anything but not salty. Killer dill pickles, bread and butter pickles, ugh. Sauerkraut, ugh. Cauliflower, oranges. What? Garlic, and the list goes on. You ferment oranges? What is the result? Like what? I don't understand, Dawn. Why would you ferment oranges? And what does that even end up like? Yeah. I know ferments are good for your digestion and stuff, but I've done pickles like vinegar, that kind, but canned, not just sitting there. Yeah. Shawnee says I've seen fermented lemons, never did it myself. I've had canned limes, and that was good. It was something that ends up being a spreadable thing, even though it has the peel and everything. I haven't done it myself, but I've seen it. Yeah, I think for citrus, for myself, it would be great to do me like mandarin oranges, but the thing is, you have to peel the membrane, and I'm just not going to take the time. It's just not something I will do. So I think, anything citrus wise, I will for preservation, I'll freeze dry. Um, Dehydrate you can do too. You can dehydrate like rounds of citrus and like put it in your tea. Like just make your tea and then pop that on top, and it'll rehydrate that way. But I think freeze drying would be what I would do for that. It's nice to do powders in the freeze dryer because you can just sprinkle something in and not add the liquid, which is really good for baking and all that. Kumquats would be interesting to try, Brenna says. Yeah, kumquats, there's lots of different kinds of kumquats too. There's some that are very tart and there's some that are less tart. Yeah. Okay. Dawn says you can ferment apples, oranges, lemons, blueberries in fruit kimchi. Can do large veggies with fruit through it too. Okay. Steve says fermented oranges pair beautifully with rich meats like brawn. What is brawn? That's a meat I don't know what that is. Or lamb and can cut through fattiness with ease. I have no idea what brawn is. Brawn is like but that's not a meat. So I don't know what that is. Shawnee says I have fermented apples in the fridge on purpose. Added too much clove, otherwise they were yummy. Like, did they come out alcohol-y or like how? What's the end result? Fermented carrots. That does not sound good either. Sorry, guys, I'm shooting down all your fermented things. Go for it. Do it safely. Go for it. Andy says my cart for a freeze dryer should be here tomorrow. Hopefully, it was supposed to be here today. Then I can move it in the house. Nice. I didn't start a new batch because I'm hoping to move it in today. That makes sense. Yeah, I actually have mine in a perfect place. I replaced the washer dryer that the house came with, which is pretty old, with a stacking washer dryer, and so it's where the washing machine used to be, and we just added on a drain to the existing drain there. Everything that drains right there is on the freeze dryer side of the wall because that used to be the outside. So it just drains there and then it drains down into outside. And so just put that in there. So I don't have to cart buckets anymore, which is really nice because you don't have to be like, oh, did I remember to take the end of the tube out of the bucket so it doesn't like suck it up into my food? Yeah, I don't have to worry about that at all, which is great. Um, Okay, Steve, this does not clarify me. It doesn't clarify it for me. Brawn is head cheese and disgusting. I have no idea what head cheese is, and it does sound disgusting. Um, but we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. I will take my citrus without nasty. Shani says I did sliced apples, lemon juice, cinnamon, clove, and a 3% salt brine. Crunchy still. I did grated carrots with ginger as well as super good on tacos. I'm just not jumping on the fermentation train. Sorry. Yeah. So that's a lactive fermentation then, if it's a salt brine. Um yeah. I don't know. Mine turned out like I tried to like it. You know, it reminds me when I was a little kid and I was inventing recipes, right? As kids do. I was inventing, cookie recipe and I put way too much baking soda or baking powder in and I made myself try and eat so much of it just because I'm like I need to like this. I made it. I invented it. No, and you can only eat so many bad stuff. Head cheese is made from the brains of pig. Why are we calling it cheese? That's all you care to know about that, Andy says. Okay. Fermented jicama. Why would you do that to a jicama? Is great too. Lacto, yes. Healthy, pre and probiotics. Oh, I believe they're healthy. Jicama is delicious fresh. Just do it fresh. I don't know. I don't know how. The thing about jicama is when you leave it out for not even that long and it starts to dry out, the flavor just goes way downhill. Like never buy already cut up jicama. It doesn't taste like anything. And fresh, I grew it one year and it's so good. So yeah, yeah. Um, Steve says head cheese gelatinous cold cut made from boiled meat scraps from the head and feet of a pig. Yeah, if those are the only two things you have fermented oranges with, I don't need it. And Bruce says it looks disgusting, especially the gelatinous part, but tastes good if you don't look at it. I don't need to be involved in that process. And Dawn's laughing at you, just like I am. Laughing with you. Sorry, with you. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Goodness. Um, well, I took a ham radio class this weekend. It was a free online class that was all day, both days basically. Um, a lot more math than I thought it was going to be, and a lot less actual use of the radio, which is like zero. Um, so I definitely need to study and take the test. But I definitely need to study and get my ham license so that I can use it in a case of emergency. So, those that don't know, ham radios they can go all over the world depending on the frequency. The frequencies can go through mountains and topography and stuff, buildings, depending on the frequency, and they're used not only, but they are used in cases of emergency. Um, our local group here, our local neighborhood, um, is getting involved in some of that. So yeah, I hope to do that soon. I do have to study. I don't know when I will have time to do that, but I will try and make the time. Um, and yes, you do need a license to use the radio. No, you don't need to write a license to listen on the radio, and they are fairly cheap. They're like less than $30. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, I just thought I'd say that in case anybody's interested in doing that or experienced in doing that. And yeah, that's good. All's good. Dawn says, hubby chatted with an airplane with the airlines one time with his ham radio. We used our hams in place of cell phones for years. Yep. It's going to be more reliable as well. Anyway, so that's what's going on here. It is almost April. Oh, my goodness. It is almost April. Our April Cook With Me Live is going to be on the I haven't pulled up already. 26th. Sunday the 26th of April is our Cook With Me Live. We are making donuts. And I haven't even looked for my book yet that has the recipes in it. But if I don't find it, I will look at that. And yeah, so that'll be on the 26th. April 1st is my birthday. Thank you, Steve. Yep, the 1st is my birthday. Yeah. For those that are local, I am looking at the 18th of April as a workshop date. I'm looking at that date as a workshop date. 18th of April, and then potentially the 23rd of May as well. I need to confirm those dates again with the with my calendar, my rabbit calendar, and make sure that those dates are correct. But that's what I have in my notes here on my calendar: the 23rd of May and the 18th of April, and that'll be a rabbit processing workshop. And you learn all about how to raise rabbits and all of that. There'll be baby or babyish rabbits for April. May, I think there will be. At some point, I need to stop their breeding before it gets too summery. But I will deal with that later. Okay. Also, I wanted to note, if you are in Southern Oregon, B School is going to be in Central Point. B School is going to be all day on May 2nd. So if you're interested in getting involved in bees, I don't remember what it is, if it's $40 or $50 for that. But there, go ahead and sign up. SOBA, just look up SOBA, Southern Oregon Beekeepers Association, and it's in Central Point. And so that bee school is on the 2nd. So if you're local or local-ish and you want to learn about bees, that is a really good course. I took it last year. I'm going to take it this year. They have some different things they're going to focus on this year as well, and it'll be all good. So, yeah, I guess that gets our calendar out of the way. Yeah. Thank you for the link, Steve. Thank you. Yeah. And then I guess, is that all the events? There's other like local events, but I think that's all I was going to share with you guys. Yeah, I think that was it. So that's good. I believe this Saturday I'm going to be on the Urban Gardener channel. I need to confirm that, but I believe I'm going to be on the Urban Gardener channel. I'll post the link for that as well. That'll be on Saturday, the 28th. 28th. I just keep on going on this calendar, huh? Yeah, so that'll be Saturday. I think he starts at 11. I think Jay's going to be the interviewer. Oh, Verna got fancy and found Soba's link. Thank you. Oh. Steve, Verna beat you to it. Steve was looking up soba noodles. As a Japanese noodle. Got it. Yeah, Southern Oregon Beekeepers Association. And also, if you're in that local-ish area and you find a bee swarm, there's a link on that website as well to click on, and somebody will come get the swarm. They're starting to swarm for sure. And yeah. Yeah, she beat you, Steve. You got distracted looking for noodles. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, there's my sales pitch. Anyway, so yeah, bees are doing good as far as I can tell. I haven't gotten them into them again. I was going to ask some of my bee mentors. I think we need to treat with oxalic acid. I think I said a different kind of acid earlier, but it's oxalic acid, I believe. For mites soon. And so I just need to contact them and ask them how to, like, if we're going to do that. They have the treatment stuff, so I'll be doing that. Hey, Alicia's here. Alicia's who I got my bees from. Everybody thank Alicia. Oxalic acid. Welcome. She says, I got stuck on a call and missed the live. Oh, you're already here. We're halfway through. Usually do a 2-hour thing. So, yeah. You don't take attendance for another 5 minutes, Steve says. So you're all good. Alicia's also going to be taking some breeder rabbits. So we got to get you out here. So you can. I'm socializing with them, but you're welcome to come out and socialize with them too, Alicia. Anyway, yeah. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, so the bees are doing good. They are buzzing. The flowers are the wonderful bloom that we had, that was the cherry plums and the um, the hawthorn that were blooming, they are coming off of their blooming now. They're still blooming, but they're coming off of their blooming, and the leaves are starting to come out. The cherry tree is in full bloom, and the apples are going to pop soon. I noticed earlier today the big leaf maple. There's a couple flower, I guess they're called buds. What are the flower things on maples called? They're not catkins, are they? They're not. Whatever the flower groups on the big leaf maple is, they're starting to come out. So they'll probably open tomorrow, some of them. So yeah, it's good. It's good. Good night, Dawn. Thank you for coming. And uh, yeah, yeah. I sent Alicia. She saw videos before you guys saw some of the videos. You watched the weekend review. Awesome. Yeah. So the flowers are going through the phases right now. Veronica is flowering. There's a red flower. I want to call it red maids, but I don't think that's what it's called. I only want to call it that because it's a flower that I knew in California. The dandelions are popping up. The what else? Oh, the scissor plant. Someone told me what scissor plant is. Starts with an E. Well, the scientific name starts with E. Cranebill, storkbill. Anyway, that is just starting to bloom. The little daisy thing, the short daisy thing that's out here, that's been blooming for a while, and so we have flowers starting. There's been a little tiny purple flower that's a native flower. I don't know the name of it though. That's up in the forest, that has been blooming for a while. Oregon grape just started, or is just starting. Those ones started. The ones on the hill here haven't yet. But we have lots of flowers. So yeah, yeah. Alicia says, I feel guilty like I'm the reason there is a huge skinny litter and a tiny fat litter. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. No. So for those that don't know, Ravioli and Rigatoni have babies right now. They are just opening their eyes. Actually, their eyes probably should be already all be open. I haven't checked all of them when they're all open yet. Last time I checked them, some of them had like one eye open, one eye closed. But it is what happens when a rabbit has a large litter is they typically are smaller because there's only so much room in the belly, right? Ravioli had 10 babies in her. She had one that was dead. I believe she stepped on it. It looked like it was like to term and was alive. But who knows? It was dead when I got to it. And so she has 9 now. And Rigatoni had 5. One of them was very weak in the beginning and it ended up dying within that day. And so that was just a failure to thrive situation. And so she has 4 babies. Now, both of these mamas had the same amount of milk, right? I mean, I don't know if they do or not. I don't know what's inside their milk making parts. But one of the groups is definitely growing faster than the other because of the amount of milk versus the amount of babies. So, no, you are not guilty. And it is funny to see the litters next to each other like that because sometimes that happens and it's just like it's so obvious, right? Um, yeah. So it's kind of funny. But you're not the reason. Oh my gosh. Do you have to plant flowers to help the bees? You don't have to plant flowers. They will find the flowers. Bees fly 3 to 5 miles is where they find their food. So within 3 to 5 miles, you're going to have a lot of things. You will likely have more flowers if one of 2 things is happening. One, you live in an urban area because people like flowers and they plant them more densely than you find in nature. Or 2, if you have a crop of something. So if you have a orchard, if you have a stand of mustard, if you have a very weedy area. But if one of those two things is true, then you'll have like lots of stuff near you. And dead nettle is also blooming. It's been blooming for a while now. Thank you, Verna. Saw a new area of dead nettle. It does spread. And Alicia says wild mustard is blooming. I haven't seen mustard here except for a couple plants down in the pasture, and just a couple, which is really weird because usually you don't see just a couple. So yeah, you don't have to plant them. However, I did buy some seeds to plant just for them. I haven't strewn them out because I was going to, and then it got warm. And I'm like, I would like to do it like right before it rains. And it's supposed to maybe rain. And our maybe rain situation this year has ended up being in like a no rain situation. Let's see what the Weather Channel says about rain this week. 57%. 60% tonight. Okay. We'll see if that happens. 18%, 23%, then it goes down to 7%. So, and then back up next Monday. Next week might be rainy. Okay. So I'm going to wait until just before it rains again and do that. Scotch broom is blooming like crazy at Bruce's. Scotch broom, I do have some of that, unfortunately, up on the hill. It's a fairly big area. Scotch broom is a highly invasive plant that they still sell in nurseries. I'm sure the bees love it, but it's one of those things that, like the knapweed, it's super, super bloomy. Lots and lots of bees, bumblebees, native bees, honeybees, they all love it, but it's a super, super invasive, nasty plant. So I forgot I had Scotch broom. Thank you, Bruce, for letting me know. Reminding me I have such a plant. Yeah, it's pretty. It's one of those, Scotch broom is something that's like, it's pretty until you know what it is and what it does, right? Like, those plants that it's like, oh yeah, that's enjoyable. Wait, it does what? It takes over the world? Oh, maybe I don't like it as much. Yeah. So, yeah. The bunnies are doing good though, and Penne and Risotto's babies should be going out soon. I should actually check that with you guys right now and see when they go out on pasture. I should share this with you guys. Let's see. How do I get back to you? Let me share. Share screen. Window this. Okay. So here's my Excel spreadsheet of what I figure out, and I haven't actually put butcher dates in there, but that's okay. So penne and risotto are red and green, and their babies will be 5 weeks old tomorrow. So tomorrow they can go out on pasture, tomorrow and the next day. You guys can see that. 5 weeks old, they can go out. And then I am butchering at 13 weeks now because they go out in pasture, they grow slower. So that will change to 13 weeks. But that will be good. So Alicia, your babies will be ready. April 14th is when your babies will be ready. All right. Stop sharing. And go back to you guys. Awesome. Yeah, having Excel is really, really great, and it's really, really great to set those things up so you don't have to like continually count the weeks, count days on the calendar. It's much easier to just say, have this formula, drag it down all the way, and there you go. Yeah. Groovy, she says. Yep. Yep. Bruce says it's only pretty, the Scotch room, while in bloom. Otherwise, Scotch room is a scraggly mess. Exactly. Yep. Yep. So, yeah, Alicia has been building some structures, which is good. Good, good. Yeah. If you guys are interested in learning about processing rabbits, learning about growing rabbits, I'm just repeating myself. I know that, but maybe people came in. I did a workshop, was it last weekend? I am going to do another workshop April 18th, which is a Saturday, and another workshop the 23rd of May, which is a Saturday. And those dates are penciled in right now because I need to confirm. I need to like make sure the math works and all that. But those are the dates, and that is in person only. I'm not going to be videoing these things. So the workshop last weekend went really, really well. The people that took the course had never processed an animal, and so they were confident and enjoyed learning the process. And we went through a lot about what processing an animal means, what emotional things and all that stuff. We went through all of that. So, and they both did a good job. Yeah. Also, class sizes are going to be, they're small because I want people to get a good experience. Amy's here. Welcome, Amy. How you doing? Oh, I missed Dawn. I get to stay up late because I took a nap. Hi, everyone, she says. Hi, Amy. Welcome. Oh, you're asking what, April? Um, I close this, of course. April is the 18th. Yeah. And Alicia, if that date doesn't work for you, I can save some back for you. But yeah, the 18th. Okay. Your rooster crowed. Amy says 1 week old today. Awesome. Even through wind and rain and hail. You got hail too? How many babies do you have? Amy has bunnies. I don't remember how many she had. So this is what, your first successful kindling? Was that right? Because she had one before that didn't make it, right? Yeah. Bruce says, how many people did you have attend last workshop? I had 2 people. One of them brought her son that went through part of it. He wasn't comfortable doing the processing part. He came after the deed was done and learned about the parts. But so we're going to call it 2.5. I'm really thinking with that number was good. I was thinking to cap it at 6. I honestly think 4 people is going to be the number I go with, because I know I've been to workshops where I end up not getting hands-on experience, and I end up not getting not being able to see something because I have to look over people because I'm taller and I always have to go to the back. I just know I've been to these things that are okay. You could have a workshop with more people if you weren't actually processing an animal. If it was just like a sit in the living room talk thing, sure, do more. But because there's so much stuff to do, I think I will be capping these at 4 people. If a 5th person wants to come in, that's probably fine. But yeah, I know there's a couple people who the date of the other one didn't work, and they wanted to do when it came around again. And so yeah, it's a good thing. And it's a good thing to experience. It's a good thing to learn how different people do things. But it was a really good thing. So yeah, we started at 9 and we went all the way to 5. So plenty of hands-on experience, plenty of questions and answer, learning and all of that. So, yeah, I'm not doing huge workshops. Plus, that one was kind of funny because I put out a thing on Facebook locally, and I'm like, oh, well, these guys need to be processed. I was going to do a workshop. Oops. And I put it out on Facebook, and I was like, okay, we'll just see who bites. If there's nobody that bites, there we go. And I had 2 people that could make it, and at least 2 people. There was a lot of interest. But there was 2 people that are going to make future workshops, and then some people wanted me to do it for free. And it's if we're trading stuff, that's fine. But if we're not, then no, this is a all day instruction. So yeah. Okay. But yeah, it was really good. It was really good. Alicia Tristan was one of the people. She came out. She really enjoyed it. It was her and her son. Amy's ready. She says, I'm ready, Steve. Oh my gosh. Awesome. I'll put you down for April, Alicia. Actually, Tristan said that she wants to do it again. She's like, she wants to internalize things and then do it again. So we'll see if she's available that date. We might have a bee rabbit day. Yes, rabbit butcher. Yep. 9 little babies over by Amy. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Amy says, I got a silver fox from someone who delivered within a week of arrival. I'm not counting that. So yes, first letter. Those that don't know, a silver fox is a variety of meat rabbit. And kind of has the same coloring as my dark girls. They're black with some white. No, my darker girls are not that. They're a cross between Black New Zealand and Californian. But yeah. Yep. Okay. Amy says, I have Vernon on retainer at this point. There you go. There you go. It doesn't matter. She came prepared. It counts. There we go. Yeah, and yeah, thank you. Thanks, Verna, for picking up the phone. Amy says, I agree. All right, I got you guys both down, Alicia and Wade. Awesome. Let me write that in here just so I remember. I remember. Okay. I'm just writing it down. Anybody else local want to join us? All right. Yep. All right. Robin's here. Welcome, Robin. Hello from Chicagoland. Welcome, welcome. All right. And Amy says that is a lot of concentrated time and effort to impart detailed knowledge. Absolutely. Absolutely. Went really well. Went really, really well. Yeah, Alicia says, I've butchered tons of animals, but only one wild rabbit. And that's the thing, so with these courses, there's no syllabus. There's things I want to cover and things that we will cover depending on how old things are when they're there. So for example, at this last workshop, we bred rabbits. That probably won't happen every time. The last workshop of the season won't have baby bunnies to see. They won't, there won't be that. But I started it in here and we talked about, goals, what we want to learn and all of that. And the last class, there's a big focus on first time processing. So my goal is to design it to the group that shows up, and all that. So yeah. So Alicia says I've butchered tons of animals, but only one wild rabbit. And the thing is, there's different ways of doing things. There's different ways of processing all of that, and um, I believe I do. I believe my way is the best way. That's why I do it. I'm not being like, oh my gosh, mine's better than yours. No, I'm just saying I believe that I am doing it the best way, because why would I not do it the best way? If there's a better way, I change, which I did. I used to use the hopper popper, now I use choke chain. So you find a better way, you do the better way. So and what works for me better might not work for you better. Yeah. All right. Amy says, just watched the coolest video tonight on bark tanning rabbit hides. I saw, I think, a thumbnail of that, and I did not click on it, but I think it has to do with the tannins in that kind of bark, right? I didn't click on it, but I would assume that it's a tannin driven tanning, like for oak or something, is my guess. Berta says, Amy, if I don't answer, oh, okay. Save those hides. Yep. I have a lot of hides in my freezer. I would like to develop a relationship with someone that can tan them, like just sell them to them, and then they can do something else with it. I thought I was going to be doing that, and I just have found that I don't have the time. So, and then you want to learn my way. Yay. So yeah, if anybody local wants to buy hides from me, I do have a bunch in the freezer already, and I'm not, when I say I'm looking, I'm not actually actively looking. I'm just hoping that at some point someone will say, "Yeah, I'll be your," or "You can be my hide dealer." Because I think they should go somewhere. I think they should be made into things. And again, I just don't feel I have the time right now. So yeah. Okay, Amy says correct with the bark. Juniper, really? I didn't know juniper had a lot of tannins. Juniper, black oak, spruce, willow. Yeah, I think we all saw the same video. Was it Sow the Land? I didn't see the video yet. I was going to wait until I had focus. I will often play a video in the background when I'm doing something else. So like, and then I'm like, oh, what did they say? Pause. Let me finish what I'm doing. Then I'll go back and look at it. But that's one that I wanted to actually sit down and watch. Willow. The willow's interesting. Amy says, you, me, same. Okay, and Verna's saying choke chain method does not work on cuy. So cuy are guinea pigs. When you raise them for meat, it's called cuy, which Verna used to do. And they have, what is it? They have a thicker, like a super thick connective tissue. Is that right? Or is there something else going on with their neck? Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Yeah, I thought that was the video. I haven't seen it yet. I will, but I haven't. Oh, it was a solo guy without distracting music. Oh, plaid shirt, well placed. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Oh, they have a thick muscular neck. Yeah. Okay. I thought you said the connective tissue was super, super thick too on them. Yeah, she thought that the cuy were going to be like easier because they're smaller, and found out that they're harder all the way around to deal with the processing part of it. So that's interesting. Yeah. Anyway, cuy are torpedo shaped. Yeah. Yep. So anyway, um, torpedo shaped. Not torpedo speed, are they? I have been noticing the rabbits are eating certain plants more than others. They prefer clover over everything, and it's amazing. Last year was the first year I had them on pasture, and the pasture hadn't been eaten for 2 summers by the time I got them on there. No, one. I think 2 summers. It was either 1 or 2 summers, but the grass was super high, and I didn't see any clover. I was going to plant clover, but I don't need to. It's all over the place. They just needed to be exposed. It needed to be cleared and to have the light from not being shaded out by all the grass. And so that is a very interesting thing that happened just in not even a year, that exposed these things. So it's pretty cool. And then after that, they really like knapweed. Knapweed is a high protein plant. It's a really invasive plant, though. So that's the thing. Like, I don't want it. I'd rather have clover than knapweed, which I can have, and is actually, they prefer it. And then comes the grass. So most of the grass that is in the area where the rabbits are right now is wild oats, which I don't think has the highest protein. It probably has other things, but when they do get clumps, there's this bunch grass. I don't know the grasses yet. There's a bunch grass out there that when they get to those, they prefer that grass over the other grass. So it's just very interesting. Um, okay, I'm gonna get to your thing, Steve. I'm laughing at yours. Torpedo speed only in reverse for the Kui. And Steve says, why am I envisioning a Kui being used in a can? Oh my gosh. No. Oh my gosh. The Muppets. Does the scythe get used this year? I just used it yesterday and I made a video. I actually finished a video I started in September, which is when I actually glued on the handles. So yes, the scythe has been used this year and last year in September, very briefly in September, and then a little bit after that. But the real test was yesterday, and yeah, I did say it in the review. But yeah, that is, I believe, Tuesday's video. Let me check. It is content. Yeah, it's tomorrow's video, so good timing. Good timing. Yeah. So yes, it works really great. I could have moved the handle for this hand. I could have tweaked it just a little bit. I'm hoping it'll be okay where it is, because I really don't know how to undo wood glue. I think it was Gorilla Wood Glue too. So yeah, hopefully it'll be okay. I'll adjust. Amy says, my house came with an ancient rickety scythe I have always wanted to resurrect. Do it. Yeah, I got mine built for me. So you take the measurements, you take your height, I don't remember all the measurements are. I think your waist down or your something down, and then like your this length. But I got it made for me, because I figure if it's something I'm going to do, I'm probably going to do a lot of it, and I'd rather it work than not. And all the comments that I've seen from people, just both in person and not in person, who have used scythes, is that it's uncomfortable to use, and it doesn't work well. Well, if you have it the right lengths and the right angles and stuff, it's going to work better for you. Yeah, I agree with Steve here. Rickety, be careful. You need both legs. Undo regular wood glue with vinegar, I believe. Will that damage maple wood? Probably not, right? Yeah, but it's like There's like a hole and then it's like in it. I don't know that I want to mess with it. I'm going to try it for a little bit longer before I try and mess with it. But yeah. The best is its precarious perch at ceiling level on a hook in the garage. Amy, that is something that you can fix today. And I recommend you fix it today with maybe a hard hat or a bicycle helmet on your head. Oh my gosh. It's still there? Goodness. Goodness, goodness. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, yeah. Amy says, it is well placed and makes me happy to see. Okay, good. Good. Uh-oh. Verna's testing limits with AI. Vinegar. Apply white vinegar to soften PVA glue, which is effective for fixing glue up mistakes. What is PVA glue? PVA glue. Oh, that's just regular glue. That's like Elmer's glue. No, this is gorilla glue that is wood glue. All right. Well, hopefully I don't have to move it. Polyvinyl acetate. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Vernon. Yeah. So hopefully it's okay, but I could see how when I was using it, and I got better as the time went on. I was really, really bad when I was starting. I could see how it just needs a little, like from there to there would be more comfortable. So it's really, really hard to try and figure out where it needs to be when it's not actually attached. So I think they need a temporary wood glue, which probably means I probably should have glued it with regular glue, which I don't have, and then did the wood glue after that, huh? That's probably what I should have done. Oh well, now you guys know for when you do it. It's definitely, after you get used to it, it's definitely faster than a weed whacker, and it gets more area, I believe, than a lawnmower as well. So like, I think once you become pro at it, it's going to be so much faster than anything. And what I do need to learn about though is pinging, I think is what it's called. Um, so to sharpen a scythe, there's two methods. One, you use a stone, which is, how you sharpen, knives or something like that. And that's like something you can do in the field. You're like, okay, it's getting a little rough. Let's just sharpen this. And then if it needs like a really like a sharpen, then it's called pinging, I believe. And that is a flattening of the metal. So the metal at the tip of so it does an arc, and then it like narrows towards where it cuts, the cutting edge. And so what you do is you like pound it so that the stuff right next to the cutting edge gets moved out to where the cutting edge is, and it thins it out. So, and then you sharpen it. So, but I would love to find someone local that knows that, because I'm a hands-on person. So, yeah. Um, oh, Steve is Googling. Remove gorilla gluing acetone nail polish remover or oil-based products, coconut olive oil for skin. Nail polish remover might work. That might work. Amy says, I don't know how many vinyls it takes to make acetate complete. I mean, it's a lot of music. It's a lot of music. A lot of notes on that. A lot of notes on that thing. Abella's here. Welcome, Abella. Hi, everyone. She says, I am intrigued by those old school metal weed whips for cutting grass. Old school metal weed whip. Is that a scythe you're talking about? Or are you talking about an actual weed whip that has a whip that goes around? Because tomorrow's video is about my scythe and using it. Yeah. There's so I've seen videos where you can have an attachment so that it gathers all this stuff and then you can set it like you just go like that and it sets like wheat or something like that. It just, plops it down in a group. Yeah, that would be really good for haying. What I don't know is like how to get that organized for the one I have. Like if things snap on, if you got to invent it for each thing or whatever. Amy says, yes, it's a serrated edged L shape, large-ish golf putter looking thing. Oh, I think I have one. If not, I used to. Um, all you do, excellent for venting hostility. It is. It really is. I used to use those. I don't even know if I have one here or not. I don't remember if I brought it with me or not. So yeah, it literally is a golf club looking thing, and then it has like a bend in it that's like at that angle, and then it's wavy on either side. It's like that thick, and it's wavy on either side like a lasagna noodle, and it works. You use one arm, so you use one arm, and you literally go back and you go like this, and it cuts going in both directions. Whereas a scythe cuts in one direction. But with those, you literally swing, 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 and I would use that to clear an area to set up a camera trap. When I was out doing research, we had one of those in the truck. It was very easy to use. You could clear it with that and clippers if you had clippers for larger things. But I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, thank you for explaining that, Amy. It's really, really easy to use. Don't hit yourself with it, but it's really, really easy to use, and you literally can just use it back and forth with one. You know, your motion never stops when you use that. Yeah. Um, Amy or Abella says it's not the scythe, but it uses a metal blade. They're much smaller than a scythe. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. I recommend using them if you have a need for it. It does really well. It's going to be much less expensive than a scythe. They actually have modern ones as well. Like you can buy a new one. Um, I think you just type in metal weed whip. Metal. Let's see what weed whip. No. Um, no electricity. There it is. It's a serrated grass whip or a steel handle weeder. Weed grass cutter. Grass whip. I would look up grass whip to look up those. They're fairly inexpensive. Yeah. Metal grass whip. Exactly. And they do work really well. But they work through continuous motion. Um, yeah. And I don't even think I've never I don't think I've ever sharpened one of those either. I'm sure you probably should, but yeah. Steve says when you become proficient with the scythe, you'll learn to cut, then move the cuttings with a scythe. Exactly. Yeah, it is very awkward to start because we are so used to like that golf club movement, whereas the scythe, you're supposed to keep this hand by your hip, and you're literally just going like this. And um, I definitely was taking the scythe and going like this along the ground instead of like this in the beginning, and I improved a lot just in the little amount of time that I was doing it. My other challenge is nothing is flat here except for like the pasture, and so everything is going to have either a up angle, a down angle, a sideways angle, some sort of angle, and so that's why I think this hand was, this one by hip, that hand's not quite in the right, orientation because it's different for every place. Yeah. Amy says I was using it wrong. I was using it two-handed. Maybe that's why I found it difficult. Yep. Yeah, if you use it two-handed, you're just gonna like go like this in front of you, and like I'm like down, but you're like putting, right? Now, if you use it one-handed, you can get good swings in. Yeah, just don't hit yourself. Abella says a scythe looks cooler though, especially if you want a Halloween costume and dress as a Grim Reaper. I suggest putting something so you don't cut somebody on it. Yeah, metal grass whip, $18 to $48 for the grass whip. Brenna looked it up. Andy fell asleep. Well, good night. Good nighttime story. Have a good night, Andy. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I have used the metal grass whips. The scythe will go through thicker things. What you're talking about it's really just for weedy stuff that's not very tough to get through, but does work for sure. Yeah, and it cuts in both directions, so that's why you just keep on going. I wonder if that came with me. I don't know if it did or not. If it, I know where it is. If I know what area it's in, if it did. So, yeah. But the scythe definitely is a faster thing than the metal grass whip for sure. And it's more organized. When you use the metal grass whip, it's kind of like, oh, that's going to go in the air, and that's going to go in the air, and that's going to go in the air, and that's going to go in the air. Just like throwing things all over the place, which is fine if that's what, yeah. If one arm gets tired, switch to the other, Verna says. It will make you ambidextrous. Just remember like where your path is and that you don't hit yourself. Yes. Some people are not that talented. Some people are with their non-dominant hand. Actually, that's a good tip to become more ambidextrous is, I'm right-handed, but I know at my old place there was a bunch of the red lava rock in the front yard. It was 4 inches of lava rock with plastic underneath it, with these ridiculous topiary shrubs that look like they should be in a parking lot somewhere. That's what my front yard at my old house used to look like. And you can go on the channel. The first 3 years of the channel was there. Way after the first 3 years of my channel is the last 3 years of 11 and a half years of being there at my old place. So you don't actually see that, but it used to look tremendously different. And when I shoveled out all of that, you get tired shoveling, shoveling, oh, I'm shoveling right-handed. I'm shoveling right-handed. Well, let's shovel left-handed, and you go back and forth. And if you're able to do that, you're able to do lots of things better with both hands. Yeah. He says, sounds like long pants and boots or armor. Steve suggests. Yep. Oh my gosh, we're into Monty Python. We do have rabbits. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea to have those. I do have, if anybody wants, I paid like $100 for it, so I would want money out of it. But if anybody wants a just walk behind push mower, brand new, used only a few times, it works perfectly for flat areas, but for a little bit of hill, a little bit of bumps, it just doesn't work. But if anybody has a flat lawn, yeah, I am not using it. So I probably should put it out for sale somewhere. He says, anyone got a coconut? Bella says, do you have any old before photos of your California backyard you might share sometime? I have before photos. I don't know if I shared it on the channel at all. Let me just look real quick on. I'm searching. Albums. Let's see. All right, we're going to see this works, and I'm not going to do it for very long because this is on my personal Facebook. But yeah, I can share photos really quick. Window. All right, so that's what the backyard looked like when I would tore stuff out. It was grass, and though there was 2 huge trees there and there. And that's building it. Raised beds. This is the sidewalk. This was in the park strip that I jackhammered up. And big roots that I took out. That's a pineapple plant. There's the beginning of the pond. There's my first avocado tree. Yeah, there's progress. That was flooded, right? Front yard. I fixed that flooding. Yeah. These are the first photos. I do have photos of like before it was there. This is the album that I saw on here. That was my ginger and turmeric bed. Right here is where the aviary would go. It's not there yet in this. Right there, where the chairs are. Yeah. So anyway, that is what it looked like. And let me see real quick if I can find where. I'll just look and see because you did ask. That was your. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Well, what's representative? That's the thing. Here we go. There we go. Okay. So here's the backyard without anything being done to it. My old place. This is share screen. That's the backyard without anything being done to it. So 2 huge trees. Oh, actually, we had already taken off the these whole windows were covered with ivy. Yeah. And there's liquid ambers in the front. So that's one for the backyard. Yeah, that's the front yard. So that's the lava rock. This was up against the house, which it shouldn't have been because that's stucco. Front yard. There is it termite tented. That's the front yard. That's what my yard used to look like, guys. My old yard. So go watch the old videos. And yeah. Different. It looked well, and looks different now because they took everything out. But yeah, so it looked different for sure. It did not have hardly any food. The lemon tree was there. That's the only food tree that was there. 2 fruitless pomegranates. Why? I don't know. But yeah. So there's your answer, Bella. You got pictures out of me. She says, nice, thanks for sharing. It's interesting to see how these things progress over the years. Oh, that wasn't over the years. That was over months. Maybe even 2 months. Like it was I did the outside before I did anything out there. I was doing things and like people would be like, "Oh, what did Katrina do last night? Something new in the yard or something ripped up or something done." Yeah, my introduction to the neighborhood was me jackhammering up the park strip while people were taking down the big trees. So yeah, yeah, exactly, Amy. What's the point of fruitless pomegranate? I have no idea. I have no idea. It has pretty flowers, but even the flowers don't smell. So I don't know. Um, yeah. So yeah, there you can take a yard like that and make it into whatever you want. Like that's the thing about owning a piece of property is you can change it. You can make the changes. And um I would encourage you to, after you've seen those photos, I would encourage you to go back and look at like the first 3 years of this channel and specifically look at the last garden tour I did on that property, and see how different it really is. And with that property, my goal was to get all the permanent fruit trees in the first year, and I did for the most part, and then I kept on adding. So yeah, that is something you can look to that and say, oh, well, that doesn't have any potential. It absolutely has potential. I will tell you, the dirt that was underneath that rock, it was dirt. It was not soil. It didn't have any life in it. Um, that changed when I added wood chips to the front, for sure. It changed a little bit. I did put some, like when I planted things, I did put like potting soil or raised bed mix or something like that. I filled those beds with compost that I made. Not, I didn't make the compost, I made the beds. But yeah, yeah. Verna says perhaps they were all male trees. I don't know how pomegranates work, but I know there is specifically a fruitless pomegranate because people don't want to have fruit that rots. It's like a decorative pomegranate, but I don't know if it needs boys and girls for pomegranates. I've never looked into that. Um, Amy asked, did I use any permaculture design? It looks like you did. No. So permaculture, as I understand it, is basically working with zones. So like you put your herbs closer to your house, you put your orchard further out away from the house. I didn't have enough room to have, I mean, you could have enough room to have zones, but not really. Um, my goal, food forest was not a term I knew then. I don't know that it was being used then. If it was, I was unaware of it. But that was basically my goal. I just didn't know that. What I was doing was edible landscaping. Um, and so almost everything in there was edible. And if I was to do it again in that same space, there are things I would have done differently. And actually there's a video that I did, I think it's called 11 Lessons Learned in Food Forest, that I actually made for myself for moving forward on this property, like I knew I was moving. And there's a lot of those things. The last year or so, I was making some of those videos for me, for future me, because I knew I was going to move somewhere. And then like about April, May, I don't remember when I came out here, April, May, on that year, some of those videos were absolutely for future me for here. But yeah, so I wasn't following anybody's plan but my own. Um, and I think I did fine. I think um, permaculture is a good thing, but I think people can get too wound up in what's right and what's wrong when you look at permaculture. So these things must be in these locations, these things must be in those locations, and I don't think that necessarily applies to all locations. So like in my case, house is here, gardens over there, food forest is going to be over there, the trees have to be removed first, but it's going to be over there. And I'm going to have up the hill, I'm going to have another location for a greenhouse type structure with quail. That's my plan for growing things. And as far as where herbs go, well, where are the deer going to be? Am I going to fence everywhere that the deer are going to be or aren't going to be? Um, Deer are going to eat most anything you plant food wise. So That doesn't necessarily work unless you want to fence your whole property, or if you want to fence, certain things. Um, what I'd say instead is, sure, have your kitchen garden, which is over here, and that's going to be kitchen garden plus nursery area is my plan for the future. Um, but that area, yeah, it's closer to the house. It's going to be where you get your tomatoes from and all that kind of stuff. But then the food forest, I plan on visiting often enough that I'm going to be harvesting stuff. One thing you can do is one thing you can do if you're in the situation of, well, I want fresh herbs all the time, but I don't really want to just jump out and get, oh my gosh, it's 10 o'clock at night. I want some whatever. Well, one way around that is you can actually get a jar, get a vase, and get your herbs for the week or your herbs for a few days, put them in water, set it on the counter or set it in the fridge. And that is what you can use right there and then. You don't have to go out and get it all the time. And so I think there's a perfect scenario and there is the realistic scenario. And the perfect scenario, sure, permaculture design is the perfect thing, and this goes here and that goes there, and this is the way you cycle these nutrients, and this is where the gray water goes to, and then it can just naturally flow down the hill to get to over there. Yeah, that's fine if your property is set up that way. If you have a property without anything on it, then you can design more appropriately. With this property, there's already a house, there's already garden space. Why change that, right? There's already a place for the chickens. There's already, these things are already established, and I'm limited by topography. I'm limited by directionality, um, and all of these things. So I think a lot of people can get caught up in, well, so and so said this is the way to do it, and I don't think that's. I think it's important to say, oh, so and so says this is the way to do it, but here are my circumstances. Does that still apply? And so and so doesn't have the right answer all the time for all the things. You can look to different people. You can reason it out yourself. You can go, oh, well, I think this other person who does it over here this way, I think that's going to be more suited for this, but this person over here does it this way, and that's going to be suited for this. The thing about growing food is someone starts it, and someone started permaculture, right? You can start something else. You can start something that works for you. So let's say I go move the bunnies twice a day. Okay, it's out further away from the house, but it's not out further away from the house because I move them twice a day. It's because that's where the freaking grass is, right? Um, on my way there, I could pick some apples because there's an apple tree there. If it's apple season, I could go around the edge of the pasture and pick blackberries when they're in season. I can go pick miner's lettuce right now. There's things you can do while you're out there if you're trying to save time and be more efficient. So I guess what I'm saying is permaculture is built around efficiency, and efficiency doesn't look like the same thing for everybody. And efficiency takes into account your own specific needs and your own specific um, goals. And so make sure when you are designing something that those needs and goals are your own and not something you read in a book. And if you need help with that, our community is really, really helpful, I think. So we ask each other questions, and I'll give you my answer and other people will give you their answer. And the thing about, gardening and raising food is there isn't one right way to do it. There are definitely wrong ways to do some things, but there are a lot of ways to do it right. So, so what I like about gardening is things that are good in my the things that do well in my garden, in my situation, may or may not work for you, and things that do well in your garden, in your situation, may or may not work for me. So we are our own expert in our own garden. So yeah. Okay, let's see. Um, So that was my long answer to Amy's questions. Did you use any permaculture design? It looks like you did. And, I've considered taking courses in it. And I just don't, all the things I've seen on it, I kind of already know. And so I don't think I need to address that. It's basically use your land in a responsible way to the maximum extent that it can be used without overloading it, and put things you do frequently close to your house and things you do infrequently away from your house. I mean, if I had to boil it down into a couple sentences, that's it. Verna says, I say do what works for you. To heck with what others think. Yep. Now, I mean, new information can mean changing what you do, and that's fine. Like I said, I changed the method of processing my rabbits basically from you guys. I used what I had because that's what came with the rabbits, hopper popper, and then on based off of some of your guys' experiences, I switched to choke chain. So get new information, make an assessment, either accept that as your own method again, or not again, but accept that as something that you do now, or don't. But as long as you're informed, you're fine. Yeah. And Verna says you grow as your garden grows with experience and knowledge. Exactly. And yeah, there's certain things that come up that's like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this situation? In that case, reach out, and we do have the Friends of Sow and Tare Facebook group. And so if you have questions about that come up, put it on there, and somebody will likely answer that and be very helpful. So we have a very helpful community here. So that's pretty good. We got good people. So, all right. Does anybody have any other questions or topics you want to discuss? When you know better, you do better. Exactly. Yep. And that should apply to all parts of life, not just raising food. And unfortunately for some people it doesn't, but we want to do that. All right. Versus blessing everyone. Have to call it a night and take Lucy out. Say hello to Lucy for us and have a good night. And yeah, unless anybody wants to talk about anything specific, I think we are good for the evening. We had good conversations that ranged all over the map. So it's a good thing. I like that. You never know what you're going to get when you go on this live. And I think these are good things. So yeah. All right, guys. Let's see. Now that scything is over, it's not over. It's continuous, dude. Can we go back to fishing? If you would like. Take it off the channel. Oh my goodness. You're funny. Yeah, it sounds like you don't need to go fishing anymore because your freezers are full, right? All right, guys. Thanks for coming. Again, Saturday I will be, I believe, got to confirm, but I believe I'll be on the Urban Gardener channel on Saturday. I think it starts at 11 Pacific time. I have to confirm all that. But I will put out that link when I get it. And then back here on Monday, tomorrow. And then tomorrow's video is about using scythe. And then I don't know what Thursday's video is yet because I have some things to go through and see what I'm doing. But that is a plan. And I hope everybody has a wonderful week. And we will see you guys on Saturday or on Monday. So thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful night.